So, here's the thing about rage games. They look easy, they seem like they are fun to play and meant for normal people, but no. Rage games exist just to mess with you and turn you into a fucking angry salt machine. But even with all that stuff, there is still something special about them. Something that even though you are very mad, you cannot stop playing. At first I didn't have any particular ideas on the game, so I decided to just make a simple cube and see if I can do something with it. I've created a project, placed a few platforms, added the cube, and gave it the ability to jump. Kinda. After almost 2 hours of weird things, I've managed to get it jumping and bouncing off walls. It wasn't perfect, but it was working. And that's what counts. Our map will be made mostly out of 3 blocks. Black, which will be the main one. While the cube touches it, the sideways force gets reverted, resulting in a bounce. We will use it for the sides of the obstacles. The main con of it is that you can stand on it. And that's where the white block comes in. This one you can stand on, but with one side effect. Every time you touch it, your initial jump force gets divided by 2 and reapplied to the cube, resulting in the continuous bouncing. The last one is the grey block. It doesn't have any particular effects and just acts as the collision block, so you won't bounce off black ones when touching the ceiling. As for the music, my first idea was just one ambient song playing in the background, but it changed quite fast. I found a YouTube channel. At the time it had like 30 subscribers, but the quality of music, hell it was good. Later I contacted him and he agreed to make the music for the game. All I can say is, go check him out, bro is cooking. Link in the description. Anyways, I got an idea for the map. It will be made from 4 areas, each having its own gimmick. Forest. It will serve as a tutorial, a short space for a player to learn how the physics work. Factory will introduce the player to moving and rotating platforms. Icy area, which will concentrate on sloppy blocks. And space, the final challenge of the game. Each area will have its own background song. They will differ by theme and pacing, but keeping the similar melody. Okay, so we have an idea. But right now, the game looks like shit. So let's add some graphics. Oh, and I added rotating blocks. And moving platforms. And slopes. Probably the worst thing to be made in the whole game. I spent so much time making them throughout the entire process of creating the game. At all I made like 5 different versions of them. Had to rewrite and change the entire physics system 3 times. They alone probably took me more than 30 hours, and believe me, it wasn't an interesting time. But after I finally managed to get them working, the happiness was unimaginable. With some graphics in place, the game was actually starting to look like, well, a game. Sort of. There were still many problems, but it was the first time I felt like I'm actually close to finishing something. Eventually I completed the map, and even added some extras, like interactable objects scattered around the map, or cube skins to collect. Then I added some menus. And this little pause screen. And then I got shocked. $100? What the f? but as a wise man once said, sacrifices must be made. So I got my wallet drained. And after proudly selling my left kidney, I could now make a Steam page for the game. At first I thought it would be easy, so I made a few store and library arts, wrote descriptions, set text, filled some surveys, and the page was well submitted. Failure. Please resubmit the build. Steam support, Jeremy. Wait, Jeremy? I think I remember that name.
Jeremy, you mother...
After fixing the issue, we finally had the Steam page working, and the game was ready to be published, but it still wasn't ready and I had some important stuff to do. Like save system. Right now, when you exit the game, you need to restart all over again, and that's not very fun. So I made a script that saves your data when you enter the main menu. But there were a lot of issues with it. For example, after falling down, you could just close the game without going to the main menu, and your progress won't be saved. So after some time and a lot of optimization problems, I came up with a system that saves your progress every frame of the game. The data is separated into 3 files. The first one is just a saved file that contains a value of 1 or 0, so the game knows if it can load next files. If the value is 1, then the next 2 files are loaded. The current file contains all the information about your last game, like cube position, jumps, time and other stuff. Save file on the other hand has everything besides that, like unlocked skins, achievements and completions. Yeah, the game knows how many times you have completed it, and I use that to make some of the most challenging things for you psychopaths. And to ensure there is a point in doing them, I added the Steam achievements, so you can flex that you haven't touched grass in weeks. In the meantime, Lynx has sent me the music for the game, so I started implementing it. I wanted it to smoothly change depending on where you are on the map. The idea was to separate the map into few areas. Entering each one will change the music variable to its corresponding value. 1 for forest, 2 for factory, and so on. And to prevent them from overlapping, I added the short blank areas, where there is no music playing. And finally, I could release the game. You must have a coming soon page on Steam for at least 2 weeks before you can release your product. I guess I will just play the game until the time comes. And after waiting for almost 2 weeks, the release button has appeared. And I could finally press it. The game was released. So that's all for today, I guess. I hope you enjoyed the video and will try playing the game. It's the opposite of joy, but maybe you will find some fun in it. Special thanks to my grandpa who playtested the game. And see ya.